What is happening, and welcome to another four-wheel drive talk episode. And friends, we're going to be talking about how you can level up your usable space in your Jeep, your four-door Jeep or your Gladiator, and increase security in under 10, let's say 15 minutes. And this really transcends far beyond just increasing usable storage footprint. We're going to be talking about something that you can do that doubles as a way to secure your valuables in your Jeep as well. Now, many of you know I have a 2020 Gladiator, and it's been a beast of an off-road overlanding rig. Now, a fun fact for you here, over the years, I have had this is my sixth Jeep that I've owned. I like them, but if I'm being honest here, there are things about Jeeps that really kind of fall short and kind of leave more for expectations or more for the desire, shall we say. And one of them has always been security. So we'll get to, I was going to say the storage space, but there's a lot of vehicles out there that really suffer from a lot of storage space. But talking about security, now many of you know I'm a professional photographer as well. Being such, I travel often with a lot of very expensive camera gear. Now here's a little fun fact for you. When I'm out traveling, which is quite a bit and so forth, if I'm heading into a store or someplace where I cannot see where my Jeep is at, I'm bringing my camera gear with me because it's expensive and there's no place secure inside the Jeep that I can lock that up, which can be kind of a pain in the rear end. And since where I'm leading with this here is, and you'll see the full circle here momentarily. And since I am a Jeep guy, I'm always on the lookout for awesome Jeep gear. And well, in today's video, I'm going to introduce you to something that completely can transform the functionality of your Jeep Wrangler or your Gladiator's interior and space. When you think about it, let's circle back around to the space thing there. If you watch many of my videos, you'll hear me talking about, as a Overlander off-roader, one of our most valuable commodities is space, right? So this product right here, what I was introduced to here, actually doubles as both something that's going to allow you to secure your gear, legitimately secure your gear. I'm not talking about the cheesy little glove box that we have or the center console. Those don't count. I'm talking about being able to legitimately lock up your gear and know that it is safe, and also increase the physical footprint and the amount of space that you have. That thing is called Cargo Dog, and I'll explain in a moment. It offers incognito storage in the floor of your Jeep. But first, friends, before we go diving into all the goodness here, look, we put these videos together to help you. In this particular case, in case you weren't aware that this product exists, bring that awareness to you, inspire to many of you those that are building out your overlanding rigs and so forth. I think this right here is a great product that solves, one of the biggest problems that Jeep owners have. There are bigger problems. There's bigger fish to fry, but you get where I'm leading with this. Security is an important thing. So anyways, where I'm leading with this, we put these videos together to help you out. If you find some value with these videos, friends, we would appreciate it if you crush the heck out of the like button down below. It really does help with the whole YouTube algorithm. That said, my friends, pull up a seat and hey, come on, it's time. Let's go. Now, before I get into what exactly is Cargo Dog, let me get you up to speed as far as how this video originated or how things got to where they are right now. A couple months ago, you may recall from one of our Trucks and Coffee episode that we did, I interviewed a school teacher named Matt from Redlands, California that has a four-door beast of a Jeep. And it's funny, I say beast of a Jeep because I think he had 38s on it at the time. And at the time when I was able to meet up with him a couple weeks ago, we put 40s on it. This thing really looks sick. But anyways, in that interview, you may recall one of the questions I asked was, what has been one of the most influential, one of the most impactful aftermarket mods that he did to his Jeep? And he answered with a product called Cargo Dog. And then he went on and showed me this thing in the back of his vehicle. And basically what it does is it's a seat delete. You take out your seats and you put this storage thing in there and it opens up all sorts of opportunity. I started looking at him like, wow, that is really stinking cool. And so I started thinking about it again, going back to what has been one of the problems with Jeeps that has always haunted me, and that is properly securing gear in there. And so after a bit, I asked him if it'd be okay to head out there, turn on my cameras. I was intrigued with how this thing worked. I wanted to see how this thing was taken out and how it was put back in. And it can be done, I mean, as I understand, it can be done in about 10 minutes or so. Now, him and I were jibber-jabbering a little bit out there and having fun talking about shop talk, Jeeps, and all that other fun stuff. And so, and what I'm going to do here, incidentally, as I'm talking about what is Cargo Dog, either this side or this side on the video, I'm going to put some of the footage from Matt taking this thing out. So here's the cool thing that he was doing out there. And so the footage that you're going to be seeing here, first, he took out because one of the cool things that you'll find out here with the Cargo Dog, you have a 40-60 split. And people like me, I have my little co-pilot that is always with me, and his car seat is in the back. And so with many seat deletes that are out there, you don't have the ability. It's one big solid chunk that you put back there. With this one, you have a 40% segment of it, and you have the 60%. You could put the 60% in there and still maintain having one seat back there, which you could put the car seat, which is really cool. You'll see him putting that, or putting one of the seats in, and then you'll see him taking that out, putting the Cargo Dog in there, taking the Cargo Dog out, and then putting everything back in, back and forth. So we're able to get a sense of just what's involved in putting it in it and out. So anyway, you're going to see that. Now let's shift gears and talk about the the basics of this here. What is Cargo Dog? And put simply, Cargo Dog is a in-store storage system for your Jeep, which is pretty stinking cool. Now, you can remove the back seat or actually just part of it, just as I mentioned a moment ago, and it frees up space to include Cargo Dog in the floor. And this really takes advantage of that floor space to provide you with safe, secure storage for things like firearms, cameras, your laptop, and other expensive gear that you don't want thieves to take. The beauty of a Cargo Dog is that it integrates seamlessly into the floor of your Wrangler Unlimited or your Gladiator to form a flat floor. On one hand, this makes the Cargo Dog difficult to see if someone is, peering in through your window to see if there's something to steal. And on the other hand, the flat floor, this creates and gives you a massive or an ideal spot for additional cargo storage, which is a big win-win. Now, here's the cool thing about Cargo Dog as well. It's made right here in the United States from a family-owned company that does have rich history in innovation. Now, the Cargo Dog was featured in SEMA in the past and has won awards, including, which I found out, the 2022 Best New Interior Product Award at SEMA, which is pretty stinking cool. So now that you know a little bit more about Cargo Dog, let's dive into the specs and its features. Now, the Cargo Dog isn't just a plain old storage bin for the backseat of your Jeep. Instead, the mad scientists at Cargo Dog put a lot of thought and effort into designing and constructing this thing to make it truly unique and functional part of your rig. Now, here are a few specs and features. Now, you have heavy-duty construction, which ensures the safety of the items. Now, this is a huge benefit, not only from a security standpoint, but also, especially if you do a lot of off-roading. Now, the discrete design of this thing utilizes the footwell of the back seat, which gives you a in-floor locking storage for all your gear. Now, the locking mechanisms are heavy-duty, which, when I say heavy duty, these things are built like a stinking tank. Now, this also adds another layer of protection for your gear inside. Now, each compartment includes lighting, so you can easily find what you need in those occasions when you arrive at camp at dark. And we've all been there. And so the installation process only takes about 10 minutes, including the time needed to remove the back seats. Now, when Matt and I were out there, as I shared earlier, it took a little bit longer because we were jibber-jabbering so much. Now, the Cargo Dog can easily be removed as well. Again, it only takes minutes to do that. Now, you get 3 locking storage compartments if you remove the entire back seat, and you get 2 locking compartments if you remove only part of the seat. Again, once installed, Cargo Dog's discrete design doesn't draw attention to the fact that there might be valuables inside this thing. And what's more, the added storage space that you get with the flat floor created by Cargo Dog is a big bonus. I mean, it really is pretty slick. Heck, with the flat floor in the back, you could even use that area for sleeping or have a nice spot for the four-legged travel buddy to cozy up and take a nap. And it's funny because when I first met Matt, again, everybody met up at Big Bear, and we were out there. We were camping out overnight, and I interviewed everybody in the morning. Matt slept in the back of his four-door Wrangler. In the back of a four-door Wrangler. That is pretty stinking cool because of the seat delete there that opens up that big space there, and there's plenty of space or plenty of room in there for somebody to camp out in the back of their four-door Jeep. That is pretty darn impressive, especially many of you that are getting involved in overlanding and don't want to be in a ground tent and don't want to get involved in a trailer or might not be ready to dive into a rooftop tent. Heck, you can get one of these things and you have the space inside your Jeep to bunk in there. That is pretty darn cool. Now, I'm going to share with you some of the things that as I was looking at it the first time when I interviewed him, and then of course, when I went back out there a couple weeks ago. So one of the things that really stood out about this was the metal construction. Now, there are other seat deletes out in the marketplace, and they're made out of birch wood, which, I mean, they're okay, but I think with the metal construction here, if you're storing, I know for myself, we're talking about security here. If you're storing expensive camera gear or expensive whatever, or if you have firearms and so forth, the metal construction to me makes a lot more sense. Well, the metal construction along with one of the things I noticed about Cargo Dog, and I hinted about this earlier, the heavy duty hardware that they use on this thing. And on top of that, when you open this thing up, you have these I don't know where potato came from. You have these piano hinges on both of the doors there, or actually all three of the doors there. So again, you're talking about some serious hardware that these guys put in. When you factor all that in, it's quite clear this company really, as I said earlier, put a lot of thought into the engineering and the design of what they put together here. I mean, just the level of gear, the hardware that they used in this really tells me I'd like to think security was one of their higher priorities with this versus storage, but they definitely made a great blend here. So you actually get the best of both worlds here. Now you have 3 locks on there, so both of, you have the outer side, the doors that open up. I don't know if that's working right, but anyways, you have the outer doors that open up like this, and then you have the center door that opens up in the center. And the center one of the cool things I liked about that is you have multiple USB power and 12-volt power adapters or plugs inside this thing, in addition to the light. So for me, when I'm out and about, I'm constantly charging various different camera batteries up, from my camera batteries with these, my drone batteries, my GoPro batteries, and you can put them in one location because I've done this many times where in the back of my Jeep, I have the USB ports back there, and then between Caleb back there or this or that, they get knocked on, stepped on all over the place. At least putting all the batteries in one location, yeah, that's pretty darn cool. And as I mentioned, you have the lights, but really where this thing shines is the deployment time. You can put this thing together in about 10 minutes. If you're jibber-jabbering along, taking your time, 15 minutes, and you can put it in equally as fast as well. And then you have, as I shared a moment ago, for those of you that have kiddos, hey, you can keep the one seat in and still use the 60% split in there and have 2 compartments that are lockable. And again, as I mentioned, you can actually, with this thing in there, you can actually sleep inside your Jeep, your 4-door Jeep, which is absolutely nuts. And the reason why storage is so important, think about it. The more storage that you have, the more stuff that you can bring. The more stuff that you have, the longer that you can be out there camping and enjoying the great outdoors. I mean, that is a big bonus. Now, I don't have one of these in my Gladiator yet, but the gears are really cranking up pretty fast here because, again, when you look at the amount of the additional footprint that you get, and just from the sheer security standpoint, this thing is a big home run. I kid you not. Since I met up with Matt for the interview there, it's been cranking along the back of my head. And when he pointed out that this was the mod that has impacted the way that he used his Jeep the most, and then I'm thinking about the security of how many times am I, oh crap, okay, I'm going to be going away. I'm going inside of a store. I'm not going to be able to see my Jeep, so I'll have to bring my camera gear in. It just really, the light bulbs went off and so forth. And so I wanted to share this video here with you guys. All right, friends, and that is it for me here today. I've said this many times in the past. When I come across things that I believe will help the masses, help you enjoy camping, overlanding, off-road, whatever they may be. I think I said off-road twice, but anyways, I'm going to share these things with you, and this particular part right here, this particular mod here has been really, I've been spending a lot of time with. So Matt, thank you very much for allowing me to go out there. Thank you for showing me how you put this thing in, how it works, and all that other fun stuff. I really do appreciate your time. Friends, those of you that are watching this video, hey, and speaking of time, I know there's a lot of options for you on YouTube, so we really appreciate you supporting the channel and watching this video because it really does help with the whole YouTube algorithm. Yes, you watching the complete video really does help. Now is that time of the video where, of course, speaking of YouTube, I'm going to ask you to do all that YouTube stuff, like hit the like button if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button because we'd like to see you again, and last but not least, so therefore you don't miss a single video that we may have coming on in the future, consider hitting that all notifications, so therefore, I think where I was going to go with that. Hit notifications, so therefore every time that we come out with a new video, YouTube's going to do its whole notification thing and send you out a little bit of a heads up. That said, friends, I'm going to be shutting off these cameras so you get out there, stay healthy, and find your adventure.